Honestly, I'm not a big, like, just being transparent and being honest, I'm not a big Normani fan. I do love her music, so I think I'm gonna say something that upsets, the stands, but I'm fine with her actually putting out music like this one at a time if it makes this impact.
Hey y'all, it is Henny again, and I'm here today to react to Normani's Fair Genius interview and acapella. This reaction is kind of twofold because I'm always interested in Normani's growth as an artist, and recently she's kind of been making the rounds on YouTube videos. There's quite a popular video about how the new girls can't sing, so I'm gonna kind of just like analyze this video, taking into account that perspective while also offering something a little more compassionate.
Yeah.
And yes, and we're also going to be analyzing Normani's chart because I've spoken before about how she is a Scorpio moon. And I feel like that shows up a lot in her singing style and might be the culprit for a lot of the critiques that she faces, which is why I have my friend Sheena Lotus here today. And go ahead.
Thank you for the introduction. You guys might know me online from In Tune with Sheena Lotus with my former collaborator, Ben. I know I've been MIA off the internet like for at least a year and a half, and here I am basically taking a break from emails, like on my 15-minute break. But for those of you that don't know, I have been studying psychological astrology for 22 years, and so I am here to share my expertise with my friend Henny.
All right, sweet. Let me get this queued up and then we can just get into it. I'm so excited when I saw she put this out. It's also her birthday today, so
yeah.
Like solar return time.
This particular day, I was like, yo, let's do some fun shit. Like, let's do it up tempo. And we ended up with Fair. So for me, it was symbolic of just letting go and not having such a tight grip on things. And actually, this meant more to me than the up tempo that we were ultimately initially trying to make, because I was actually going through what Fair is talking about. And who knew that I would have needed the song still even now? It's crazy.
Almost immediately, that Scorpio moon, because she said control.
Yeah, letting go.
Yeah, like.
Yeah. I think for anybody who has like Scorpio placements, not even more so like maybe Scorpio placements or like Pluto placements, one of the ongoing themes is about like letting go, and that's like a surface level theme. And then also like it ties to like numerology, like the life path the ninth life path number, because I have my life path number is 9, and the theme is about letting go.
So we're using essentially an intuited birth chart for Normani. We know her birthday, her birthplace, but we don't know the exact time. And I'm intuiting it off of basically interviews and analyzing her career as a longtime fan. But I really do think she's Leo ascendant, like through and through.
Yeah, I gotta like kind of like compound on that. I'm a sun in Leo, and so I find Normani like really attractive, and I actually gravitate towards her. And so that's normally the truth when, let's say, like someone's ascendant is conjunct our sun sign, which means it's in the same sign or about 10 degrees apart, maybe in a different sign, or like same with Venus, same with moon. We can go on and on about those.
I honestly feel like it was incredibly important for this record to come out when it did, because I owe it to myself, as an artist. And I feel like, as much as people are like, where's the album? Where's the album? Where's the album? Oh, you should have put out when Motivation came out. Like, I wasn't ready. I had come off of a girl group that I was in for like 5 to 6 years, which is a very, very long time, especially when you're not able to be as creative or say the things that you really want to say. It really, really is one of the truest and most authentic layers to my experience. 200 days and counting, I know you're my favorite still. I had been in a relationship for 2 years, and this was somebody I cared about like no other. And it wasn't because the love wasn't there, but it was just the timing of everything. But like 200 days and counting is like the fact that I can't fucking shake. The fact that I still love you the way that I did when we were together. When I say I won't, tell myself I don't, but I always will. Feel the way I feel. You have time to heal, I got time to kill.
Oh, she very much is a moon in Scorpio conjunct Pluto. I think you intuited her. I definitely think that you intuited her chart right, because it's like that 200, the obsession, the not being able to let go and processing that. If anything that I, like from just my experience and like my research of like studying Scorpio and like Pluto and like all like the 8th house as well, which are like my favorite things to study, is when we're talking about like a moon in Scorpio, the hardest thing is emotional regulation, and I think for a lot of moon in Scorpios, and I think it really just also depends on like where her moon falls out in the house. But we know like her moon falls like in the 4th house, and then it being conjunct Pluto, and it's loosely conjunct Pluto, right? I think on the chart you have it about maybe like 8 degrees apart, so it's not as intense if it was like a orb of like 5 degrees or less.
Or 0.
Yeah, but like it's just kind of like that emotional regulation of going from one extreme to the other with your emotions, when really like, from a health standpoint, the goal is to make sure that our emotions stay in an optimal range. And I feel like it's the same for a lot of moon and Scorpios. Like if we think about like another moon in Scorpio that's really popular, Beyonce.
Yeah.
Like those extremes, those like themes of extremes emotions are so prevalent in her music as well. But like that, the lyrics, and just also like what she's just talking about like the obsession, 200 days and counting, like, and you're trying to let go of like reckoning and accepting like the relationship has ended, but I still love you. Ooh,
yeah.
Cliche thing, like Scorpio placements, they don't like being vulnerable. So like coming to that acceptance of like, fuck, I want to get past this, like acceptance, like just accept where you are.
Kind of going off of what I said at the beginning is like, I feel like a lot of the criticisms of Normani's singing in particular is very tied to that moon in Scorpio. It's very tumultuous, and that can be seen as inconsistent. And just that obsession with like control, you hear it in her voice here. And
Yeah.
honestly, even and not to bring up Beyonce again, I know we're tired of them comparisons, but like I hear it in Beyonce too, whenever, especially in live shows, when she does the more intimate sets and she's not being Beyonce the performer, but she's being Beyonce more of the artist, and she's sitting down on that stool and you hear her navigating like how she's going to convey something to her audience. There's a massive amount of pressure and control in there, and I think it's like that's a nod to her Virgo placements as well as that Scorpio moon. And I hear it with Normani, where she doesn't often stray from what the record gives, like in the studio. And I don't think that's her not necessarily having too much of a grip on her musicianship. It's just her always wanting to give the most like controlled, precise, like perfect sort of delivery. She's not going to give you any more than what she like this is what you're getting.
What looked like he had moved on, I was pissed off about it. I was really, really upset. I was hurt. I was in my feelings because I'm like,
hot as an understatement.
nah, how am I over here sulking and upset as I am, but like you're out and you've moved on and like you're good. If I'm not good, nigga, you can't be good.
See, that's
So I was butthurt.
I done dated a few Scorpios. In my day. Dead ass. Who got conjunct Pluto. Dead ass. This is very much so her moon. I love the honesty. I love their mind. Like, this is so authentic.
So nigga, you can't be good.
Right? Like, shit. Damn, I love the honesty. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, not more so Scorpio, but like in terms of like, oh yeah, Scorpio, Pluto placements, 8th house placements, the general public, or just people in general who don't have those placements and encounter, a Scorpio placement or a Pluto placement or an eighth, like a prominent eighth house placement, there's this tendency to project our shadow stuff. We see that a lot with SZA too. Like SZA has like Scorpio in the 10th house, and the way people talk to her is freaking crazy. I'm always just kind of like taken aback. Like it's the same thing. Like it's a common dynamic that happens amongst, just from my experience and like research, that happens with Pluto, Scorpio, and like prominent eighth house placements, you know, with people who just don't have those placements.
Yeah.
Playing my mind like I rehearsed it. I know I should repurpose. Ain't no faking hurt like this, no. You carry her and all I carry your burdens. Time for me ain't working. I know heartbreak ain't perfect, but...
Okay, I just have to say, I was talking mess about, so she did a performance on Fallon, and while I loved the performance, I don't want to say I was underwhelmed, but I was disappointed that she didn't trust herself enough to have the mic turned up over the instrumentation. A lot of people saw that performance and thought that she was lip syncing, but if you actually like listened, especially with headphones, you could hear her doing a slightly different interpretation of the song, but her mic was turned to basically match the instrumentation.
Okay.
But I love that here, like now that she doesn't have to like perform, and it is that more like at home, intimate setting.
Which is so great for someone who has the moon in Scorpio, conjunct Pluto, and in the 4th house.
Yep.
And intimate settings are settings where she feels more at home. Her moon is going to shine the most.
Yep. And like you can hear it now, because like one thing that I was like disappointed about with that performance was that she didn't figure out how to make that strong belting line shine, because her voice can go deep and she has that beautiful smoky tone, but I feel like her voice is still light. So because of that, a lot of people interpret her as a whisper singer, despite that she can belt. Like she can blow. Like right there, she was belting.
I wouldn't consider her a whisper singer.
So I would in that performance on Fallon, I was like, damn, like it's a shame that her mic wasn't turned up, because she hit this like really clean ass belt and then added a new riff right after it that gave like an extra emotional layer. But because of the mixing of that performance, like it didn't get its shine. And I was like, damn, like now people are going to continue to clown this woman when she really nailed the performance. But I wish she or her team or whoever mixed that trusted her vocal enough, because it was there. And now we're hearing it. Like it's there. People need to stop playing her in her face.
Obviously, like, we all have our insecurities, and I feel like in a relationship, I've always felt confident in my abilities to be a great partner, and like I know how good I am. So to have that like sense of betrayal, it actually made me question like me and my abilities as a girlfriend, because I felt like, are you trying to fill a void? And things were great, you know? Things were great at the time, or at least I thought that they were. So for that to have happened, it just kind of threw me off.
What you just said highlights her 2nd house being square, her 5th. I know she was like talking about, I know that I'm a good girlfriend, I'm a good partner. So that highlighted like the 7th house cuss. And we know, like, with her, with what you have intuited, she has a Leo rising. So that would mean that she has an Aquarius descendant, and so that gives more insight into what her expectations and what her dynamics are in relationships, as well as like her Venus placement. But the whole thing about like being like the girlfriend, like I know I'm a good partner, there was some like emotion behind there that I picked up, that honestly, to me, how I experienced that, it highlighted her, her 2nd house cuss on Virgo square her 5th house of courting, dating, like romance, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Damn.
Is it fair that you moved on? 'Cause I swear that I haven't. Is it right that you've grown and I'm still stuck in habits? 'Cause I'm finding it strange, and that you're better than average. Hearts didn't break down the middle. Tell me, how did that happen? When I break down the lyric, hearts didn't break down the middle, it's such a beautiful line because I love lyrics that kind of create imagery and you can visually see it as well. Like, I felt like I took more of a beating and more of the pain. You know, I'm like, who am I to say that he didn't feel the same way? But like, my heart was
very Scorpio. So funny.
Maybe if we could trade places so you feel betrayed and I could feel shameless. I carry all of the weight and you get all of the gains.
First off, that's a bar. Like, whoever, I don't know if she wrote that or like if someone was writing with her, but that literally, that's like a rap lyric. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't take all the ways that she might touch you. Throughout the difficulties from our relationship and the adversities that we faced, I really felt very weighted by that. And that doesn't take away like how much I love this person, you know? Oftentimes when we're in relationships or romantic relationships anyway, we kind of have this misconception that, you know, we have to take on everything. But it definitely starts with, you know, being whole yourself in order to like coexist with this person. You know, I don't think that when people are saying like my person, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm my person. You have to be your person first to be the best version of yourself for somebody else. And it's very scary, honestly, being able to share like these type records with the world because in a sense, like I said, this is close to the experience that I experienced. And it's like, if people don't like it, then it's like, damn, you just don't like me, you know? So it's sensitive. It definitely is. But at the end of the day, I make music for me and the people that love me and my fans, they ride for this record. And it's just really, really, it's been a breakthrough, you know?
I feel like that ending bit is like so indicative of like, yep, this is like, because if we're going to be honest, analyzing the lyrics and the sound of Fair, it's very minimalist, and that's why it immediately...
Virgo.
Yeah. I know there was a critique of like, this is what it, like, someone said this is doing a lot with a little, and I was like, that's a Scorpio.
And that's her, you know, Virgo on the second house cusp. I understand, like, people want the album. I'm kind of along with her. I don't think that's her process. And I like this, and I feel like she does have staying power. Like you said, with her Taurus being, you know, like she has a Taurus midheaven with the way that you've intuited her to her chart. And she's here to stay. Yeah. Let her have her artistic process. And I honestly wouldn't change her process. Like, honestly, this won me over as like a more of a fan. I've liked her all the way since Fifth Harmony. I thought she was a standout. I knew she probably had some Leo placements back then. Yeah. You could tell she was like a standout in the group. But yeah, if this is her process, I feel like we have to respect her process. Like the album. That's not her artistic process. So allow her to have her artistic process, you know, nod to Sagittarius being on her fifth house cusp. Also nod to, you know, like the second house being, you know, covered by Virgo. And her moon in Scorpio, conjunct Pluto, being in the fourth house. Let it be. Yeah. Like, let her have the process, and then she's able to put out something like this, which is so emotionally impactful.
That was our reaction to Normani's Genius interview for Fair. And I completely agree. Like, I think her process is wonderful. I think we burn through singles so quickly. Yeah. And a lot of people just need to learn to slow down and appreciate shit for what it is. Like, this is a girl that studies, that fifth house in Sagittarius. She's going to be that student for life. Yeah. And it's going to continue to show up like marvelously in her music. And I'm excited for it. So whenever that album does get here, I'm not pressed for time. Like,
I'm not either. Like, let it be. Let the process be what it be. Like, if anything that I can leave with the word is that there's beauty in the process. I know for so many people, a lot of people, they don't want to go through the process, but there's so much beauty, lessons, and growth in the process as opposed to just getting to the destination. And I feel like Normani, with her like placements, embodies that. Let it be. You want good music. You want quality music from her. You want authenticity. Let her be. Like, just relax. Like, if anything we can learn from Normani as an artist, I feel like, especially as someone who's like a newer fan of hers, I would say, is patience. Patience. That's what you're gonna get from a Scorpio anyway. Is patience. You're gonna be taught patience.
All right, and that is a wrap. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
That was great.